Hello, my friends. In this video, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite topics, and that's food. It is diet. It is what we feed our body, what gives us the fuel that we need to perform optimally, to enjoy life at full potential. So this is something that I actually could talk about this for many videos. I'm probably going to do many videos on this topic because it's something that I have played around with my whole life. I am so grateful for having a mother who fed me we had a garden, we pretty much organic. We went to a health food store, and I was actually on a no sugar diet for a long time in my life when I was younger because sugar affected me a lot. It was very sensitive. So I was put on very strict diets at a young age. I was very lucky to have been exposed to eating a clean diet, essentially. However, I loved sneaking away and I loved going into the cupboard and finding little treats here and there. But in my teenage years, my diet was awful. I ended up eating pretty much whatever miserable, gross, disgusting food I could put into my body because I wasn't allowed to have that at all when I was young. So I went into that fast food, processed food system for a little while, but I soon came out of it because, again, I feel that because I was raised with such such a health conscious mother that I went back to living into that way of diet, which again I'm very grateful for. So the food that we put in our body, there's a lot to discuss with this. And where I am now, I actually am pretty much vegan. I might have cheese very rarely. That's it. And I've been teetering on the vegan vegetarian realm for a long time because of, I grew up in a meat-loving family. Even though my mom was health conscious, we still had meat. We still ate a lot of meat. My dad, meat lover as well. Where I grew up, the culture was a very meat-centric culture as well. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't judge anyone who eats whatever. This is just coming from my perspective, my own experiences, of course. And I'd love to hear yours as well, even just some tips or experiences, or maybe just something that you've gone through in your own self-discovery. And this is my own self-discovery. This is something that I have grown into over the last several years. I've been vegan before in my life. I believe in one of my past videos I talked about when I was a competitive cyclist. I was very athletic, and my coach at that time was very against being a vegan in competitive sports. He was from South Africa. God bless him, amazing person. And being from South Africa, it's a very meat-centric part of the world as well. So meat was an everyday thing. I needed meat to fuel my body, to provide myself with iron, to give myself the nutrients and the power that I needed for the sport that I was in. And I do understand that. I do feel that it did serve a purpose. It was very beneficial for my results. However, I do feel that there was another way I could have probably approached it, but it served a purpose. It was completely fine. Over the years, I have been dabbling with so many diets. I've done the keto, again, vegan, pescatarian, vegetarian. Those are pretty much I know there are probably others that paleo I haven't actually touched on at all, but I truly feel that it's so important, and this is part of this self-awareness discovery process that you're in, that I've been in, that's so important for us to go through to discern what is right for our body and what is the healthiest choice. And what I eat is not going to work for everyone, and that's fine. That's completely fine. I'm just, again, sharing my story and sharing what I put in my body. But at the fundamental basis of it all is, what can you do to even observe? I talked about habits in another video of mine. A lot of times we adopt habits with our diet and what we put in our body based on our family, based on culture, based on just things we picked up along the way, and then we don't even realize what we're putting in our body. It becomes habitual. So it is really identifying these things, because what we put in our body is so crucial. It's like having a car. If you have a high performance car, would you put low grade oil or low grade gasoline in your car so it could perform at its highest capacity? No. It's the same thing, but we overlook this. And this is one of the basic things coming down to the roots of our existence that often gets overlooked. And it is so, so vital that we fuel our body with the good stuff so that we can perform optimally, so that we can concentrate better, our energy levels are at optimal performance, and we just feel good. And a lot of the times when we put bad food in our body, sugars, processed foods, fast foods, when we put that stuff in our body, we just at times, sometimes, you know what, once in a while, there's nothing wrong. I am guilty of that very, very, very seldomly. I think I did in the past go to fast food, but there's nothing wrong with a once in a while thing. But if it's like a regular thing, or if it's a go-to thing, then just be aware of that. Where can things be tweaked a little bit to integrate some different options that are going to be healthier choices? And by healthier, organics is definitely key, definitely key. Making sure that by whole foods, it's non-processed foods, foods that go right down to the foods from the garden, from the resource, from the source, essentially, non-processed, non-modified foods. We want the pure essence source food to put in our body. That is going to really help us sustain a healthy lifestyle. And again, it does affect our emotions, it does affect our moods, it does affect our energy levels, and again, it does very much affect our health. So with diet, where I'm at now and what I've learned along the way is clean eating is so essential. I love intermittent fasting as well because it gives the body a break from putting food into the system constantly. I am in the gym 5 days a week, or out being active at least 5 days a week. So I can eat all day. I know my body. I need food a lot. I'm actually hungry right now. That's how much I eat. I eat a lot during the day, but I usually don't start eating until, it depends what time I wake up though, maybe 10, 11 o'clock a.m. I stop eating at 7. That's my cutoff. So at least 15 hours, 15, 16 is the goal, but 14 to 16 is really, really good for your body. When we are used to eating a certain way, and when we're used to feeding our system with foods that are salty, I like salt, but it has to be in moderation, sweet, preservatives, artificial flavoring is what I meant to say. When we're used to that, then it's really hard to break that habit. Diet is probably one of the hardest habits to break and to integrate new forms of diet into the system, into the body, because if we're used to eating a certain way for so long, then we become accustomed to it, and it becomes so ingrained in our system, in our psyche, our body craves it. If we're used to preservatives or artificial flavoring or things that are really strong in flavoring, then it's almost like our sensitivity has become altered from tasting pure food and going back into being aware of what pure food tastes like and actually enjoying it. So if you've been eating food, or if someone's been eating food that has been processed or artificial or something, or like a modified food for a long time, pure food isn't going to taste as good. And so that's why it's really difficult to integrate diets. And for me, I've been playing around with diets for a long time. I've gone on diets. I even did the Atkins diet way back. I gained a lot of weight because I was in the gym a lot. It was a high protein, high fat diet, similar to keto, which I would understand that they're the similar from my understanding anyway. And for me, at the fundamental basis of it is I need to listen to my body and understand what my body needs and where my body is at with certain, again, diets, what I need to fuel my system with. I even went to be a vegan on a diet that my friend uses for substitution of cheeses, for substitution of sauces and things like this, I used her diet and my stomach went off, and it was really difficult for my body to integrate that specific diet for being a vegan. Now, I'm a vegan now, more or less. Like I said, I like cheese. I don't think I can eat meat again. And it is because I have gone through this spiritual process of higher energy, higher frequency energy. I feel that truthfully, the energy of death for me, having it in my system, I can't do it. I'm now at that place where, and I used to love meat. I loved charcuterie. I loved anything. I would eat honestly blood rare meat when I would eat it, when we go out for dinner, or even at home. I would always say rare blood rare. It didn't bother me at all. But now I just can't. I can't put it in my system. And knowing the cycle of life, and now I get it, I understand it fully, because I've had to go through that process myself of my own awareness and working so gently now with energy, that I really, really have found a new respect and regard for life. And these are again my own reasons, my own principles, my own values. I don't judge anyone who eats meat or has, their own preference at all. This is just where I'm coming from. But since I have found my way, and it hasn't been a complete dead stop on meat or dead stop on all these other things, it's been a gradual process of kind of feeling my way through what works, where my body's at, what my body listens to. It's been years of this self-discovery with food. And now I'm in a place where I'm in my groove. I know exactly when I need to eat. I have a very light, kind of like quinoa with berries and nuts. I used to think years ago, I used to think that this was just silly living. I would never have had that. I used to have eggs in the morning. I would have some hash browns maybe. I would load up my plate. Now I'm eating quinoa and berries and nuts and nuts for my breakfast, which I love. That's my go-to. But years ago, I would have never have thought I would be doing that. I love my breakfast. I love the big hearty breakfast. I love brunch, and that's pretty much what I eat is almost a brunch. But I love going out for a big hearty hash browns and eggs, and I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. And there's nothing wrong with it, of course. I might even do that every now and then, and that's all good. But again, just coming back into the daily habits of what we feed our body with. And again, it's so important to just be cautious and try not to reach for perfectionism. That's not healthy. Just go with what you feel is right for you, and start with slow integrations or even elimination if you're feeling like maybe your body, and sometimes we get used to our body being off. If our stomach is digesting, if it isn't digesting well, if maybe we're going through a lot of anxiety, or again, diet can exacerbate things like stress and anxiety and even depression. It could throw off our hormones as well. So it is just a lot of awareness and just going back to how can I simplify my diet but still get the flavor that I love and the richness that I love out of food. Sometimes we don't like compromising, and I know there's always a way around it. And it always is very much, again, back to checking in with yourself and feeling how you feel when you eat certain foods. And that is a huge indicator. The self-awareness is massive. And this goes across the board with self-awareness. Of course, if you're here, you're watching this video, you already get it, you already know it. But it is very much getting into the self-awareness with the details and the feeling of what you're putting in your body, because that is a huge aspect of our existence. And again, the more that we can fuel ourselves with the good stuff, the better experiences we are going to have. Our body is going to respond so much better. We'll get more rest, we'll feel better, we'll feel energized, our energy levels will be really great throughout the day. Mine are fantastic. I feel like in another video I mentioned I don't drink coffee anymore. I rarely eat sugar. I have my dark chocolate that I have every day before I do my videos. It's my ritual. It's my little ritual. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I feel amazing during the day. Before I would crash and burn, I would drink coffee in the morning. I would love strong coffee. I would love strong flavors. I would love I would get hooked onto things and I would just consume it all the time. I find my groove, I find what I love, and I just stay there. And so Yeah, the coffee, just now that I'm on, I just drink herbal tea during the day. I have no caffeine during the day. My energy levels are incredible. And especially doing the work, the healing work, the reading, working with my own energy, working with energy of other people, I find that my practice has really shot up. My ability to connect, my ability to go within, my ability to sense, my ability to really understand has very much increased. And I feel a part of it is to do with my diet, with what I'm consuming. It's because of the work that I do. And I don't, again, expect everyone to be in that space or adopt the same diet. But again, yes, it's very, very light, very high energy food, meaning pure food, organic, lots of vegetables, lots of fruits, lots of grains, simplified. But you can still add a lot of things too. If you like the flavor, like I do, you can still do a lot with that. And your taste buds become more alive for the purity and the richness of what whole foods, quality foods offer you. And that is really, again, it's like our practice. It's just like our practice doing this kind of work with self-development, spiritual development, is becoming so aware of the flavors and the senses. And when we get into that pure source self, then we connect with that, right? And we become one with what we're putting in our body. It all be everything we ingest, information that we ingest, friendships, everything. It all becomes part of that cycle that we live in, that becomes a higher expression of ourselves. And it becomes just a higher experience in life in all forms. So the diet is huge. It is crucial. And don't get me wrong, I like some chips every now and then and some snacks, and there's nothing wrong with that either, right? So anyway, I do hope this sheds some light. I could talk about this for a long time because it is a very fascinating aspect. Habits are so crucial and ingrained in ourselves in all areas in life, of course. And I did mention, I think before in another video as well, when I had a head injury from cycling many years ago. Yeah, severe head injury. And I went through the process of, well, first I had 3 years where my symptoms got really bad. I was suffering from depression. I was suffering from anxiety. I was really moody. I was having panic attacks. I thought I was having heart attacks, really heavy stuff. It became very severe because I wasn't treated right at the beginning when I had that injury. And it affected my relationships, it affected my work, it affected my quality of life, it affected a lot of things really severely. And when I started, I seeked some guidance, but the majority of the healing process that took place was from me integrating habits within my daily life that changed my central nervous system. And a lot of it had to do with food. It really did. And meditation, of course. That was a huge part of it. Meditation, being kind, connecting with self. And I had to clean up a lot of what I was putting in my body. And that helped a lot. It was huge. Habits are big. It takes, I can't remember the day, like 3 months, I think it is, 2 or 3 months to fully integrate a new habit. So give yourself some time. I don't know if that's, I know it's a long time. It's probably a few months, I would think. But give yourself time, be patient, and just go within. Just feel your way through the process. You know, there is no right answer. There is no, we're all designed a little bit differently. But again, I'm just speaking from my experience and what I've gone through. That has really helped me a lot. All right, so I hope that is offering some guidance for you. I am wishing you the best during your journey, and I will be seeing you soon. Take care.